Hello, everyone. In our today's class, we are going to, we have a journal entry here. We have it together with the question as shown on your screen. So we have the transactions here and the journal entries have already been passed. So the task for today, we are going to look at how do you pass all these journal entries into these ledgers as shown. We have it here. We have the tasks. We need to post in the ledgers as shown below and extract a trial balance. So let's go to the first one, which is the cash account. We start with this. We have it here. These are the journal entries. They had already been passed. So the first one, we have a cash account with a debit balance of 500,000. So this is what you do. You come here to cash account. This one is the debit side. We have it here, the debit side. And with this debit, I'm reducing the font. That's the debit side. On this other side, you refer to it as credit side. Then the first thing is a debit as shown here on 1st October 2023, cash account 500,000. So you go to cash account here, you write the date, it was on 1st October 2023. And the amount, just skip the, even without skipping, we have cash account 500,000 and it was money to start, capital to start the business with 500,000 cash. So we pick this capital and that's what you write here. You write capital account. And now that you've done that and the amount is 500,000, and there's the rule that we refer to as the double entry, the concept. So you have to do it to do the same thing in capital account. Now that go here, look for the capital. It's the second one. Capital is on the credit side and it's the opposite account is cash. So you come here on the credit side, you write the date 01/2023 and it was cash. We have your cash account. The amount is 500,000. Then you go to the second journal entry. You are done with this. So you go to fifth. Fifth, you have debit account, debit furniture account with 150,000 and it was in cash. So you go to furniture account. You proceed to the third one, which happens to be furniture account, 150,000. And it was in cash. The date was 5th October 2023. And here you write it's cash account. So you do the same thing to cash. You need to complete the double entry for cash here. So you have your cash, 150,000. It's on the credit side. You go now to ledger. To this ledger, go to cash account. It's on the credit side. It's on 5th October 2023. What was bought? It was, you see, it was furniture. That's what Stacy bought. Stacy bought furniture, and it was posted in furniture account. The amount is 115,000. So you've already completed the double entry for the second one, furniture and cash account. So you go to the third one, which is on 10th. On 10th, we have equipment and cash. Yeah, it was bought amounting 280,000 and it was done. It was bought on 10th October 2023. So you come here, look for equipment account. You go to equipment account. So for equipment account, here we are. The date was 10th October 2023. And it was bought in cash. So you write cash account like that. The amount for equipment is 280,000. So you post it here, 280,000. And the other thing that you need to do is to complete the double entry for equipment and cash. So you have the cash here on the credit side. So you look for your cash account. You go back here. You see your cash account. So it is here. Write the date, 10th October 2023. Cash account. And what was bought? It was equipment. So equipment account. The amount is 280,000, like that. Then you go back here. We go to the other transaction, which happened on 12th. So from the journal entries, this is what you have: bank account and loan account. Bank account, you debit with 100,000. So you go here, look for bank account. We look for bank account. Here we have it. And for bank account, it was a debit of 100,000 from loan. So the date was 12th, 2023. We received the money from a loan. So we have loan account. The amount is 100,000. The amount is 100,000, like that. Then we go to loan account. We need to complete the double entry for loan. Here we are. The date is 12th. On the opposite side, it's on the credit side, 2023. And the money was deposited in our bank account. And the amount of money is 100,000, like that. Then we go to the other transaction, which is purchases. It was on 14th October 2023, purchases 70,000, and it was done in cash. So you come here, you look for purchases account, purchases account. Here we have it, purchases account, it's a debit. It was on 14th, it's a debit. And you write under the details, it was in cash. So you write cash account. The amount is 70,000, like that. Then you go to cash account, complete the double entry for cash. We need to complete the double entry for cash. So it's on the credit side. So 14th October 2023. And we used the cash for purchases. So we are just completing the double entry, and the amount is 70,000, like that. Then we go to the other transaction, which is on 16th. We have cash account 105,000, and it was sales 105,000. So the first account, we need to debit with 105,000 as shown, and it was on 16th. So here we write the date, 16th October 2023. We have it here, sales account. How much was that for sales? 105,000. Then we look for sales account to complete the double entry. We come here. Here we have our sales. It's on the credit side. The date is 16th, 2023. It was cash sales. And the amount for the sales is 105,000. Then we go to, you've completed the double entry. So we go to, on 20th, we had rent, paid rent, 20,000 in cash. So we need to pass this one in our ledgers. The first one is rent account, debit 20,000. So we go to rent account. And for our rent account, I think should be up there. So we have our rent account. Here we have it, it's a debit, and it was on 20th October. Then for the details, the rent was in cash, it was paid in cash. So we write cash account like that. The amount is 20,000. Then we need to complete this entry. We go to cash account. It's on the credit side. So we are looking for the cash account. Here we have it. Here we have it, cash, 20th. It was 20th October 2023. We paid rent, so we have to pass the rent account here, post it. And the amount for the rent was 20,000. Then we go to the other transaction. And the entry, as per our journal entry, we have now stationery and Mr. Green. So we bought stationery worth 5,000 on credit from Mr. Green. So stationery account, we have it on the debit side. It was on 22nd. Take note of the date. So we go here, look for the stationery account. Yeah, so we'll have our stationery account here. That's sales, stationery. Yeah, we have our stationery account. It's a debit. It was 22nd October 2023. And for the details, we got the stationery on credit from Mr. Green, Green account, like that. The amount for the stationery is 5,000. We have it here. Sorry. 5,000. And we need to complete the double entry. We go to Mr. Green. This one is on the debit. So Mr. Green account, we pass the same thing. 22nd October 2023. So we go to details. Our details is stationery. We bought stationery on credit. So we have our stationery account. The amount here is 5,000. Then we go to this other one, the last one, purchases account, 100,000, 25th from Mr. Blue. So let's look for our purchases account. Here we have it, our purchases account. It was on 25th October 2023. How much did we buy? We bought from Mr. Blue on credit. The amount is 100,000, like that. Then we look for Mr. Blue's account. Yeah, here we have our Mr. Blue account. Mr. Blue account, if you go back to our journal entries, it's on the credit side. The date is 25th. So we need to pass the entry. So we come here, the date is 25th. And what did we buy from him? Purchases, like that. Then amount, 100,000. All right, now we are done with that. So we need the second step before we move to our trial balance is to extract the closing balances. So we need to close all these accounts. And the way we close these accounts, we go to our first account, which happens to be cash. So for cash, we have these amounts on the debit side and these amounts on the credit side. So we can have here a small summation. Okay. Using this calculator, on the credit side, I have 150 to 80, 70, and 20. So let me add. So it's 150,000 plus 280 plus 70 plus 20. You get 520. You get 520. So the totals here, 150 to 80, 70, and 20, they add up to 520,000. Then we need to do the same thing here. So once you add these two, 500,000 and 105, you get 605,000. So clearly, the debit side is more than the credit side. So what you're going to do, you skip this one row, you put the totals here and write 605,000 like that. And on this other side, do the same thing, write 605,000. So now that the totals here, it's adding up to 520,000, we have a difference of 85,000 for us to get our 605,000, because by the end of the day, we need to balance. So this one is just the balancing figure. 605,000 minus 520,000, you get 85,000. So once you get that, this one is the balancing figure, and you write balance carried forward. And the last day of the month of October, it's on 31st October 2023. All right. Now, once you've done that, you need to bring forward these 85,000 for cash. And a cash account, you have 85,000. So for this 85,000, it's a balance carried forward on the last day of the month. So you bring it forward on this other month. So the date will be 1st November 2023. And here you'll write balance brought forward like that. And just put it in lower caps, brought forward like that. And you're bringing forward the balancing figure, which is the closing balance here. So you have 85,000. And this one happens to be on the debit side. So it's on the debit side. This one, it's on this side. So 85,000. And you are done with cash account. So we go to capital account. The same thing, you see, we only have one entry here. So we have our debit side here. And you have on this other side, our credit side. So the last date of the month is 31st October 2023. So here under details, you write balance carried forward. The amount is 500,000 like that. And the other thing is that it should add up like that. So you have your 500,000. Then this one, it's on the debit side, the balance carried forward. The following month, it will be in the month of November. So November 1st, 2023. You bring it forward here, balance brought forward. And the amount that you're bringing forward is 500,000. So where is it for capital account? It's on the credit side. So you have your capital. On the credit side, the amount is 500,000. Take note of that. Then we go to furniture account, the same thing. Here, this one is our debit side. This one, our credit side. Then the last date of the month, 31st October 2023. Then this one, you write balance, carried forward. How much is that? 150,000. You bring forward 150, the same one on this other side. Don't skip, make sure you do that, 150,000. Our balance carried forward is on the credit side, so bring it forward on this side, debit, 1st November 2023. And the amount is, you just write balance brought forward. The amount is 150,000, like that. So furniture account, we have our balance brought forward on the debit side, and the amount is 150,000. Then we do the same to these other accounts. So we have our equipment account. This one is our debit side, and this other side, we have our credit side. So the last date, 31st October 2023. Details, you'll write balance carried forward. The amount is 280,000. So put the figure on both sides, 280,000. That's closing the account. Then balance carried forward, it's on the credit side, so you bring it forward on the debit side. And you have, it's 2023. So you write balance brought forward like that. How much is that? 280,000. So clearly you see equipment is on the debit side with 280,000. Do the same thing for bank account. This one is our debit side. Our credit side, like that. Then you go here, our last date for the month, 31st October 2023. You write balance carried forward. How much? 100,000. We close it down here with the same thing. 100,000. Also here, 100,000. It's on the credit side. So 1st November, we bring it forward here. Balance brought forward. The amount is 100,000. So for bank account, the amount is 100,000 on the debit side. Then we proceed to our purchases account. Both of these add. So you have that 1st October 2023. You'll have the total 70 plus 100. You'll have your 170,000 here. And that will be the same figure that you'll have on the other side, 170,000. So what is our balancing figure? You write balance carried forward. The amount is 170,000. It's on the credit side. Yeah, it's on this side, credit side. This side is what you refer to as the debit side. So you bring this amount on this side. So you'll have 170,000 there. And here you'll write balance brought forward. And when was that? 1st November 2023. Then you do the same. So clearly you see purchases. For our purchases, we have 170,000. Then we have our loan account. Our loan account, we only have one posting of 100,000. We have one posting of 100,000. We only have one posting of 100,000. So we have our loan account. You only have only this journal entry, this posting, 100,000. So the last month of October, 31st October 2023. This is our debit side. This other one is our credit side. Our details, we will write balance carried forward. The both amounts 100,000. So 100,000 should be on both sides as shown. Now that it's on the debit side, we will bring it forward the following month. And so you'll have your balance brought forward. The amount is 100,000. So clearly you see it's on the credit side. So take note of loan account. We have the 100,000 on the credit side. Then we proceed closing down rent account. So the last date here, this one is debit side. And this other one is on the credit side. The last date, 31st October. The details, balance, carried forward. The amount, 20,000. Below, you have your 20,000. On this other side, 20,000. Balance carried forward, you bring it down here. The first date, 2023. So balance brought forward. The amount is 20,000. So rent account, we have it 20,000 on the debit side. Then we move on to sales account. So this sales account, we have our debit side here. And we also have our credit side on this other. So the last date of the month, 31st October 2023. The details, it's balance carried forward. The amount 105,000. So make sure you have 105,000. And also here 105,000. Bring it forward the first day of the month of the following month, 2023. You write balance brought forward. The amount is 105,000. So take note of the sales account. Sales 105,000 on the credit side. Then we proceed with Mr. Green account. Mr. Green account, the last date, 31st October 2023. The balancing figure is balance carried forward. The amount is 5,000. So you have debit side here. And on this other side, you have your credit side like that. So both sides you have 5,000. And on this other side, you have 5,000. You bring it forward here, 1st November 2023. Balance brought forward. How much? 5,000. So clearly, you go to Mr. Green. It's on the credit side. The amount is 5,000. Then you move on to stationery account. Stationery account, again, the last day. So, and here we have debit side. On this other side, you have credit side. So what do you have here? Balance carried forward. The amount is 5,000. And both sides you need to show. Also on this other side, you need to show 5,000. 1st November, you have balance brought forward 5,000. So you have 5,000. That is stationery. Then we have Mr. Blue, which happens to be our last account. Debit. And on this other side, you have credit side. The last day, 2023. So balance carried forward. The amount is 100,000. Both sides again, 100,000. First day of the following month, 2023, we will begin with, we have a balance brought forward from Mr. Blue, 100,000. And you are done with your with closing down your accounts. So Mr. Blue, 100,000 on the credit side. So the last step is for you to extract Stacy's trial balance, and you have it as at that 1st October 2023. So you take note of all these accounts that we have, and you write them down. From cash account, like now you see, you have a cash account. So we have cash account 85,000. So you move. We go to our last thing, which is our trial balance. Trial balance. So you have here the first account, you write cash. Cash account. It's on the debit side. How much was our balance brought forward? We have 85,000. Then we proceed to this other one. Okay. So we just proceed to the other account. I'm sorry for that. So okay, now we proceed with our capital account. capital account, we had 500,000. The balance brought forward, it was on the credit side. Then we have our furniture account. Our furniture account, 150,000 on the debit. That was our balance brought forward. Then we move on to equipment account. Equipment account, it was on the debit. The figure was 280,000. Then bank, 100,000 on the debit. Here, 100,000 on the debit. Then we move on to purchases account, 170,000. So you have purchases. Purchases account, it was on the debit, 170,000. Then loan account, we have loan. It was on the credit, the balance brought forward, and the amount was 100,000. Then we move on with the rent account. Rent account, we have, it was on the debit, 20,000, like that. Then we go to sales. Sales, our opening balance was on the credit. The amount is 105,000, like that. Then we have our Mr. Green account. Mr. Green account on the credit, 5,000. Then we go to stationery account. Stationery account, it's on the debit, 5,000. Then we move on with Mr. Blue account. Mr. Blue account, we have 100,000 on the credit. And that happens to be our last account. So what is remaining is for us to get the total on both sides. So we need to get the total on our debit and credit side. So for the total, we just get the total. So we add 85,000 plus 150, 85 plus 150 plus 280,000 plus 100 plus 170 plus 20,000 plus 5,000. So that's the last. The figure here is 810,000. And on this other side, you do the same thing. You add 500,000. Then you add 100. You add 105,000. You add 5,000. You add 100,000. And the figure that you get again on this side is 880,000. And up to this point, you are able to see we have both on the debit side and the credit side adding up to 810,000. Meaning, if you post it in the right way, all the way, the journal entries, if you get it right at this point, when you're doing your double entry through passing the appropriate journal entries, you should be able to post in your ledgers and extract. Once you post in your ledgers here, extract, this is what you call the closing balances. And once you close those accounts, you pick. And the ones that appear on the trial balance, they are only these balance brought forwards, not the balance carried forward. So if you find like for rent account, it's 20,000 on the debit, that's what should appear in your trial balance. It's on the debit 20,000. And that happens to all the accounts. And the proof is, the first thing is to get the figures correct here. So 810,000 on the debit and 810,000 on the credit. So that's the end of our today's lesson. Until next time, bye.